Hello everyone and welcome to the Lives of Vegan Athletes discussion panel.
Woo!
I'm Paul Curtin of the Hench Herbivore YouTube channel and personal training business. Joining us is talented yogi and vegan restaurant blogger Serena Lee, personal trainer and co-founder of the Planet Kind online store Maryn Knevitt, former international tennis player and fellow YouTuber Kasiri, and who we just heard from, the founder of the UK's first women's fixed gear cycling racing team, the awesome Jess Hayes.
Woo!
Yay, we're getting started. Okay, so I've got some questions for our panel guests, then if there's time we'll throw them to an audience Q&A. Okay, let's talk training routines first. I'm personally a big fan of challenging myself in the weights room, and I enjoy seeing my muscles grow, seeing the numbers going up. I love turning into the focus pads for a high intensity, like exciting boxing workout. I get very bored with the slog of distance running when I'm on a cut. So I'm interested to know which modalities you guys perform on a regular basis, which you favour the most, and why. And let's just go in order, and that'll be nice and easy.
Hi guys, so I'm actually a personal trainer as well. I'm a yoga teacher, but my approach to personal training is a little bit different because I do everything gym free. It's kind of, I don't know, I just never really liked gyms. I like the actual gym, I don't like going to the gym and having to wait for stuff, very impatient. I just like to be able to use my body weight. So I do a lot of calisthenics based stuff, gymnastics based stuff and yoga. So for me, I exercise probably 6 days a week and have one rest day, sometimes 2 rest days. Normally I do a lot of cardio as well. I like to do long distance running, but I've had a shin splint that's plagued me for the past 2 years. So it's been a case of lots of yoga, lots of body weight workouts, and because I do personal training, generally most of my exercise actually gets done while I'm training other people, and there's not much on top of that.
Nice.
I came to personal training from a swimming background. I've never really been in a gym until a couple of years ago. So I was mainly a swimmer. I surfed quite a lot when I lived in Australia. I came to the gym just out of an interest in it, and these days I really do 2 to 3 days strength training, so just as heavy as I can go for low repetitions. And in the summer I tend to do sprints, like track sprints, so I'm not a fan of cardio at all. Yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment.
High intensity is so much more efficient at building like fitness and ripping the body fat off, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's obviously a long-lasting effect afterwards. There's numerous studies done that when you do high-intensity training, your metabolism is boosted and you burn fat for many hours afterwards.
Yeah. I read something like 48 hours excessive post-exercise.
Yeah, my friend Greg told me that. I think it's sort of quite intense for 10 hours and then tapers off.
Yeah, right. But yeah, lovely.
Okay, so my history with exercise, I guess, is a bit different to everyone else's, because I used to be in professional sports since the age of actually 5. So from the age of 7, I was training 5 hours a day. At the age of 13, I was pulled out of school and sent to Florida because I was part of a big management group for tennis, and I was playing tennis for Great Britain. So I think a large majority of my life has been spent in the gym and training and traveling and competing. I don't really know what life is without sport and exercise, because it's kind of been since I was a kid. But now I guess my work in sport is not so much about my own body, but I work with a lot of other athletes on their nutrition, especially boxers at the moment, working on a plant-based diet with them. I'm more on the nutrition side rather than kind of working on my own body at the moment. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you.
So I race track bikes, which is a different kind of cycling than that you probably see on things like Tour de France and road cycling. So when I was training a lot, which I haven't for a couple of months because I kind of tapered off at the end of the summer season, I ride somewhere in the realm of 2 to 3 hours a day. And then on Fridays, I'll only ride an hour and a half, and I'll treat myself to some Pilates. And then on the weekend, on Saturday, I'll probably go for like 110 to 150 kilometer bike ride. And then I'll have Sunday off, because I like to drink wine heavily on Saturdays. But during the week, basically what I do for those four intense days where I'm running a lot is I'll do like a long ride in the morning, and then over lunch I'll just do lots of high intensity bike sprints. And basically the reason that you do that, and on like quite a heavy gearing, the reason you do that is because in a track race you don't really focus on going fast for a long period of time. You're just going fast a lot and then slowing down and then going fast and then stopping. I don't know if you've ever seen a track race, but it's essentially, it looks like a big bowl, but when you're riding it, it's just flat. You're just going straight. And the only thing that changes is you moving around. So I just do lots of high intensity track.
Lovely. Okay. I'm a great believer in the healing power and sports performance benefits of a whole food plant-based diet. And I have many examples of this with my PT clients and other vegans I've interviewed for my YouTube channel. I'm interested to know how you guys eat and what benefits you may have experienced personally.
Cool. I eat just your standard whole foods plant-based diet. I'm guessing most people. Can you put your hand up if? Oh, hang on. I don't want to single out non-vegans. Put your hand up if you are if you've gone vegan in the last 6 months, or if you're not vegan. Okay, so quite a few. So yeah, a whole foods plant-based diet, if anyone's not familiar, is basically vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, grains, and that's what my diet is mostly made up of. The problem that I sometimes have is because I blog for Vegans of London, I eat out a lot, and that's the kind of tricky bit to navigate, is that there's a lot of really good food. So I kind of let it slip a few times a week, but I count those as kind of cheat meals. I don't have cheat days. I used to do that. Before I was vegan, I had this whole 8-month stint of being paleo, which is like opposite. And during that, I found it so restrictive that I was like, I needed 2 good absolute cheat meals or 1 whole cheat day where I'd absolutely binge and feel disgusting afterwards. Great thing about a vegan diet is that you can have such clean, like, treat food, and it's very balanced now, just whole foods, plant-based.
So it's a question how we eat currently.
Yeah, how you eat and what benefits you may have gained from it.
Okay, so I try and eat as high nutrient during the day as possible. I'm currently intermittent fasting, so I eat for a period of 6 to 8 hours. Mostly it's fruit and vegetables during the day, sort of as high nutrient as possible, and then in the evenings I just eat whatever I feel like, if it's ice cream or kebabs or I'm a resident at What the Pizza these days. So I kind of feel as long as I get all my nutrients in for the day, the rest of it is just calories for energy and to be used for energy the next day and repair.
Yeah, so I'm kind of the same as these guys. I'm a real promoter of the whole food plant-based diet. You know, being vegan obviously is going to help your health, but you know, there are many vegans that can be a junk food vegan. You can be a vegan and live on vegan ice cream, white rice, processed foods, etc. And I think one of the huge benefits of a vegan diet for sports performance is the fact that it's extremely anti-inflammatory. Whenever you exercise, whenever you lift weights or you run, you're creating a lot of inflammation within your cells. And that's why a vegan diet, a plant-based diet that's very high in antioxidants and nutrients and vitamins, it helps to speed up muscle recovery like 10 times faster. And I think another reason why it's so beneficial is because I'll go back to when I used to be a professional athlete in tennis, and I was actually forced to eat things like meat and chicken and fish because I was told that I needed the protein. And I just remember how much it used to tax my digestion, and I would feel sluggish. And then when I transitioned onto a plant-based diet, everything was so easy with my digestion, and of course that frees up so much energy because your energy is not going towards digestion, your energy is going towards your actual performance. So I think easily digestible foods like fruits and vegetables and good quality fats especially are so important for muscle recovery.
When I'm training and I'm riding like 400 kilometers a week, my favorite thing about being vegan is I can just like ram it in. I eat so fucking much food when I'm training. Oh my god. Literally, like, that's basically my favorite thing about being like a vegan that really likes sports and really likes riding bikes and like endurance sport. I'm just constantly eating anything basically that's not an animal or has come from an animal, all of the things constantly. That's the best.
Awesome.
We're 9 minutes in. You're fine.
Okay, has anyone got any questions for our athletes?
What do you all think about sugar? And I'm talking about sugar from, not processed sugar.
Are we allowed to get some durian right now in this conversation?
I'm talking about sugar from fruit and from like dates and things, because I get a lot of backlash. I eat 4 bananas in my smoothie after a workout, and I get like people going, you're not a monkey, like why are you eating 4 bananas in a smoothie? And I'm like, because they're so good for me. Can you eat too much fruit? Is that a thing?
No. No, I think, this is, I work as a nutritional therapist alongside mainstream nutrition and medicine and dietitians, and they're all promoting kind of a low sugar diet these days, and I think it's the fact that, refined sugar is a poison. It's not a good food for us. It's inflammatory, it's bad for us, it has no nutrition, unless you're a durian rider and you think it does. But, Sprite. But I think we have to remember that, refined sugars are a completely different thing to whole fruits. I don't think you can overdo it on whole fruits. I'm not saying you should eat 30 bananas a day like some people, but I think a high fruit diet for anyone that's doing sport is very, very beneficial because it's full of vitamin C, which speeds up your cellular recovery, etc. So, no, you can't. I don't think you can overdo it on whole fruit.
Awesome, I'm gonna keep eating my bananas.
I would just add to that though that it is like calories. It's not obviously just about calories in, calories out, but in terms of if you are eating loads and loads of fruit, it's just if you're eating too much, then because I've done it before, I've eaten way too much fruit and put on loads of weight, and then been like, but I'm a vegan and I eat loads of fruit, so why has this happened? Oh, it's because I've eaten too much and I haven't moved enough and I've gained weight. So yeah, it's obviously good for you, but yeah, it is a thing calories do.
I've seen great results on high fruit and high starch. Recently I was involved in the film of The Game Changers, the James Cameron film that's coming out next year. And there they spoke to some scientists and they're saying it's looking like we have some specific adaptations now, which means that we can handle starch a lot better than all other anthropoid primates. But in terms of if that's better than fruit or not, I think that they're equally good. I've seen excellent results on both ways of eating, as long as it's high, higher carb and real food, food as it comes from nature. Yeah, definitely.
I think there's a lot of demonization of sugar, especially with the media, but they're not sort of focusing on fruit and whole foods like they talk about refined sugars. I eat refined sugars as well. I just kind of think I don't regard it as a nutritional source. I just regard it as like energy, and it might be doing some sort of damage, but I'm not thinking about it at the time. But in terms of fruit putting on weight, like putting on fat, I think that might be more of an association with like other foods you're eating, or I think it's pretty hard to eat loads of fruit and sit still, and still the whole process of converting sugar to fat doesn't really happen that often. And it's kind of hard to eat a lot of fruit and sit still anyway.
Just wanted to mention that the reason the reason that fruit has been given such a bad name in nutrition is because a lot of the research that has been done has actually about fructose. We all hear about fructose being bad for us, being bad for our liver, but all of the research that was actually done on fructose was done on high fructose corn syrup. None of it was actually done on whole fruit. So there's a completely different thing there.
Yeah, taken out with the fibre.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, who else has got a question?
Hi. You've talked about whole food diets, and you've mentioned nuts. Now, I try and eat a fair amount of nuts, but I do believe that it is better to soak your nuts. So I'd like you to talk about your experience of nut soaking, given it's something you promote.
It's better to soak your nuts.
I'm so. I literally was like, why is everyone laughing? So I'm a big advocate of this, and you'll see if anyone has me on Snapchat, literally every day I'm like, soak your seeds, and I've got like buckwheat that's been soaked and seeds that have been soaked, and every day I'm like, phytic acid, you have to. I was just having a conversation with someone just now saying, why aren't you soaking your oats and all that kind of thing. Yeah, they have phytic acid naturally, because if you think about it, a nut or a seed or a grain, we are supposed to just be vessels that it would go through to go into our feces, to go into the ground, to grow into something. So if it can go through us intact, then great. So in order to have that process so that it is intact, it's got the phytic acid around it, and that inhibits us from absorbing some minerals, I think iron and maybe some other minerals, I'm not sure exactly, but it inhibits us absorbing it into our system. So just soaking it even overnight or sprouting just helps us to get maximal benefits from our nuts and seeds and things. So if I'm in a restaurant, I'm not like, have you soaked these nuts? But yeah, when I have control over it, I do it, but I don't obsess over it because it just doesn't give life. Yeah.
Nailed it.
I think if you can soak them, great, but I don't usually have time personally. If you've got the time, go for
You've
it.
got time to Snapchat your breakfast, you've got time to...
Okay, anyone else? Yes.
Do you have some advice for someone who is too lazy, like how to get into exercising?
For me, a really big thing is just like making a routine and making it the thing that you just do. I actually find breaking a routine becomes more, and I don't know if this is because I have ADHD and I need to have routine to like live, but if I feel more annoyed at myself for like messing up my routine for the week when I'm doing something than I do about like laying in bed and being lazy. Like I do you know what I mean? Like the trade-off for me is like, oh, fuck, I just screwed up the whole week, not like, oh, I'm sitting in bed on Reddit again, haha. Like, it doesn't really, it annoys me more that I've messed up my week than it has that I've missed a day of exercising. So yeah, I just like made a routine. I made it like aggressive, do it, like put a Google Calendar every single time I'm going to the gym, exactly when it is. I basically just do the exact same thing every day, day in, day out, and that's how I get through exercising a lot. Which isn't like the most like inspirational and motivational. Go and exercise, it's beautiful. The music's good, and also the other thing is like find a sport or a activity that you really, really like. Like, I mean, if I was like going and lifting weights, I think I would probably do it for like a month and be like, girl, that is done. Like, no. But with bikes, like I freaking love riding my bike so much, and I only kind of figured that out like 4 years ago. So once you kind of like just try heaps of different stuff. Like I hate anti-gravity yoga more than I hate anything else in the world, but I love Pilates, and I tried them both, and then I ditched the vampire sling and went and did some Pilates. It was great. So just try different stuff out. Like find a gym with free classes and go to stuff. Like Maryn like tried to make me do deadlifting one time, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to the pub. So just try different stuff. That's all.
Yeah, good advice.
Hi. So, I read this study. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna speak quietly. I read this study once that you can live over 100, and they were mentioning this intermittent fasting thing. I think it was Maryn mentioned that. Could you just tell us exactly what it is and like the benefits that surround it?
Right. So intermittent fasting is where you don't eat for an extended period. It can be anywhere, you can choose the length of time, and then you have a period during the day where you eat. So myself and Greg are currently, we eat for about 6 to 8 hours during the day. So you have your last meal at 8 p.m. and then you don't eat again until the next day at midday. So you're essentially skipping breakfast, and you're eating, in your eating window, you're eating the same amount of calories that you would normally eat. And the benefits are numerous, but mainly because you're resting for so long, you're giving your organs a chance to not be processing food constantly and not have that insulin response. And there's a huge amount of research gone into hormone production, especially growth hormone and testosterone, increasing when you fast for extended periods. For weight loss, like fat loss, your metabolism increases when you sort of have these long periods of not eating. So it shouldn't be confused with starvation, because you're still eating the same amount you normally would, just in a shorter window. Yeah, I found it makes me feel really good, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And the reason it's so anti-aging is because, I guess, we all know about the hormone insulin. Insulin is actually an extremely aging hormone, and the more insulin surges we have, it kind of ages us. And I guess when you're intermittent fasting, you have less surges of insulin. And the reason it's so good for fat loss is because the opposing hormone to insulin stores fat, is glucagon. And if you're constantly eating throughout the day and you're having insulin surges every 5 minutes, glucagon doesn't get a chance to work, which metabolizes your fat. So this is why intermittent fasting kind of works for anti-aging and fat loss. Am I right? Okay, I'm right.
You should like a science bitch mic drop or something. I'm not saying anything, I've got nothing to add.
Lovely, that's about all we've got time for. Thank you guys.